Good day, senior high icons. Today we will be discussing our last topic for English 100 subject. And for this week, we will be focusing on persuasive speech. So what is this all about? Let us now start. So for this discussion, we will be having these topics. The first one would be the definition of persuasive speech. The second one will be the qualities of an effective persuasive speech and the methods of persuasion. So as a recap, when we say persuasive speech, that is a type of speech which aims to change the audience behavior, beliefs, and decision. An example for this kind of speech are the politicians and the sales clerks, in which they are convincing us to buy their products and to vote for them. So here are the qualities of an effective persuasive speech. The first one is that it has well-defined goal. As a speaker of persuasive speech, your main goal is, of course, to persuade your audience, to make them believe in your perspectives. Also, it has clear main point. As a speaker, you must be firm with your statement, you must stick with your topic, and you must make sure that your audience should believe in your proposition, and at the same time, you could be able to get their attention. Also, this kind of speech has sufficient supporting details. You should not come there without any evidences, without any supporting information, because it will not just make you prepared, but also will add up to your credibility as a person. So here are the methods of persuasion, or here are the ways on how we can persuade our audience. The first one, we have here the speaker's credibility. We also have the evidence presented. We have the speaker's reasoning and the use of language. So for us to be credible speaker, the first thing that we can do is that we can explain how we became an expert of the topic. You can just simply say your educational backgrounds, your work experiences, so that they will have an idea and so that you can gain their trust that they should really listen to what you're about to say because you are credible enough. The second one is that you can connect your experiences, beliefs, and attitude to your audience. One thing as a sales clerk that you can do is that you can share your experiences. You can say that that product works for you so that your audience with the same skin problem could be able to relate, and at the same time they would feel that you are worthy of their trust, and so that can gain a client at the same time. Lastly, you have to practice often. It isn't enough that you are good in delivering the speech, that you are confident, but also you need practice. Because once you practice, you will be able to get used to the things that you're about to say, and you will really sound credible. Once they hear you, other people will think that you really know what you're saying and that you are really honest and that you are an expert of the topic or of the subject. Those are basically the things that you can do to enhance your credibility as the speaker. Next is that we have to use enough evidences. So how are we going to use the evidences that we have? The first one is that you have to specify your evidence. You have to let them know where will you able to get the information. Is it from whose source? Is it through a research or whatsoever? And then next, you have to avoid outdated evidence. When we say outdated, it's not latest. So you have to avoid that one. It would somehow make your work unreliable. The last one is that you have to use reputable or credible sources. You have to use sources who's really qualified for your certain argument or for your certain topic. Another thing for you to become an effective persuasive speaker is that you must be good with reasoning. That whatever they ask you, you could be able to reason out and you could provide explanations. So we have here different types of reasoning. These are the things actually that we should avoid when we are reasoning out. So the first thing that you have to avoid is the ad hominem. When we say ad hominem, we are attacking the character of the person, not the argument itself. This kind of fallacy is commonly seen in a television in which the son of a rich family has a fight against the poor one. So instead of listening to their concerns, he won't listen. He sees them as persons who don't have any right, who are not educated enough to talk to him. So that is how ad hominem works. You are not seeing the person based on his intelligence or based on his capacity to reason out. Instead, you are seeing him based on his character. Next, the fallacy that we should avoid aside from ad hominem is the circular argument. From the term circular or encircle, you just kept on repeating your statement. Let's say that you have mentioned we have to take care of our Mother Earth because it is necessary. So it is important that we have to take care of our Mother Nature because it is needed. So you just change the terms, but the thought is just the same. So that's circular argument. You have to avoid that one as well. The third fallacy that we have is the false analogy. This one happens if we compare things or persons which are somehow similar or which has similarities, but we are assuming that they are already similar at everything. Let's just say that they really are identical twins, so they really look the same. However, we should not conclude that they are the same at every aspect. So if we would do that, we will have false analogy. Or we would say, oh, since you are the son of a theft, then you are a theft as well. That shouldn't be done, or that shouldn't happen, because that would be considered as false analogy. Maybe they are somehow the same, they have the same name, they are both girls. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are the same, they have the same character, they have the same background. So that's false analogy. The fourth fallacy is that we have here false authority. This happens if the statement provided is not from an expert of the subject or topic. So let us say that we are having this English subject, yet your teacher is a Filipino graduate. So somehow he or she is capable, but he might be not credible enough to teach the language or the subject itself. Also, the fortune teller doesn't have the right to tell you that you will die later because he or she isn't that credible enough to tell you when will your life end. So that is false authority. Next, we have the false cause and effect. From the term cause and effect, the connection between the cause and effect are not clear. So let us say that I have asked you what are the possible reasons why we have global warming, and then you have answered me it's because I was able to sleep last night. So what's the connection between the two? So there's no connection, there's no relevance, so that's false cause and effect. And if you wanted to be a persuasive speaker, you have to avoid that fallacy as well. Next, we have the hasty generalization. When we say hasty generalization, we are concluding without having enough evidences. For example, we have mentioned all of the Koreans have undergone plastic surgery. Maybe some of them has, but not all. So that's hasty generalization. If you don't have enough evidence, you should not say that. Next, we have here red herring. So for red herring, the answer doesn't address the question or is not related to the question itself. So let us say if I would ask you, have you eaten? And you would answer me, I'm full. Or you would say, are you tired? And you would say, isn't it obvious? Has actually been normalized now because of Vice Ganda. He always answers those questions in a not suitable way, or it should not be answered that way, and we get used to it. That's been part of our lives now. Another thing, for us to be a credible speaker, we have to use our emotion properly. So how are we going to do it? The first one is that we have to internalize what we are saying. It means that you have to focus with your statements, you have to feel what you are saying, you have to be sincere enough, And you have to let your emotions flow freely. Okay, last is that you have to use your emotions properly. If you are happy, then smile. If you are sad, then cry. You don't have to cover it up. And also, if you are a persuasive speaker most of the time. So that would be all for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you have learned something for today's lesson, and this will be the last lesson that we have. Good luck to your examination. Thank you so much and have a great day. Once again, I am Miss Laika Larcon.